And obviously, if you do have your own questions, put them in the live chat right now. We're here for you. And it starts with Vishal Penchal that says, are sandflies a major issue in New Zealand? Any tips? All right, so sandflies in New Zealand is actually something that a lot of people dread. They are really scared about dealing with sandflies, and they usually come mostly in summer. Summer in New Zealand, Laura, is?
It is between December and February.
So that's December, January, and February. Now, the sandflies are usually only prominent near bodies of water, yeah. Near where the water is.
Yeah.
They are a bit annoying. Honestly, Laura and I have never really suffered that bad from the sandflies because, well, we just follow a series of very, very simple tips that were given to us, throughout our travel here with the locals and everything like that. And we have quite a bunch of tips for you guys on that. So the first thing that you need to keep in mind with sandflies is that they hate the wind and the rain. The good thing is that in New Zealand, well, it does rain regularly and there is usually quite a good amount of wind. So if you actually have a day with a lot of wind and a bit of rain or something like that, maybe that's the best day for you to plan that trip where you want to go nearby this river or nearby this lake and check out those amazing places. So if you can move things around your itinerary, you see a bit of wind, a bit of rain, you know you're going to be completely free from sandfly. Again, something that we usually keep in mind, but even when we go on a placid day near a lake, usually it's not that bad. It really affects different people. And that's very often depending on what activity you're doing.
Yeah, so one of the key ways to make sure that you don't get sandfly bites is to just keep on moving.
Yep.
It's more when you sit down somewhere, if you're, one of the major times we've been maybe harassed by sandflies is literally when we've been in a hot pool next to a river where we were actually stood still we were sat still for a long time, and that's usually not a good combination when there are sandflies around. But if you're out hiking or exploring, and usually that's the sort of travel people do in New Zealand, they go on walks, they might do a bit of mountain biking or cycling or be on tours where you're always moving around. And because of that, the sandflies don't even get time to come and land on you and start sucking your blood. So, so keeping on moving is always an easy way to make sure that the sandflies don't get you.
Now, there is a local's tale that says that if you eat enough Marmite, which is an absolutely disgusting paste that Kiwi eat for breakfast, they put that on toast. It looks like tar. It's awful. It's brown and everything. And they say if you eat that, well, sandflies tend to come less onto you. I think it's a myth, but I will give that as a tip because we've heard that more than once. So if you eat Marmite for like breakfast, and we tried it, I mean, aside from the fact that the thing is absolutely disgusting, I don't think I could see a major difference because usually we're not really harassed by sandflies. But it's something that a lot of people actually told us. So here you go.
Yeah.
Eat Marmite for breakfast.
And also another thing about Marmite is that apparently the thing in Marmite that stops sandflies from, sort of repels sandflies, is the high dosage of vitamin B.
Yeah, so then take some tablets. Don't eat the Marmite.
So alternatively, if you're not into Marmite, you can eat a lot of other sort of vitamin B rich foods, or you can take vitamin B tablets, like dietary supplement tablets. So that's an alternative way to go about it if you don't like Marmite, which Marmite is an acquired taste, so vitamin B tablets is a good alternative. And it's not even a proven science that works, but it's something that a lot of people believe is the case. So, I mean, if you're desperate, why not give it a shot?
Also, Marmite is really disgusting. It's not an acquired taste. It's a taste not worth acquiring. That's
another way to put it, I guess.
All right. So, next thing that you can do to avoid being bitten by sandfly is very obvious. Is using insect repellent. There are a ton of different insect repellents, and there are a few things worth keeping in mind when choosing your insect repellent. First up, you would like to, you should avoid any insect repellent that have DEET, in it. It's a chemical which is really harmful for both children and people as well. It's really bad for you. So there's a ton of really good natural insect repellents that you should be looking into. We have plenty of lists on NZ Pocket Guide. Actually, it's linked exactly from this article. So on NZ Pocket Guide, we have an article about different ways to avoid sandflies, and you can actually click from there to our recommended insect repellents. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. You also want to make sure that the insect repellent you're using for your kids is actually a kid-friendly insect repellent, because kids are much more sensitive to some chemicals, and so that can make them pretty sick pretty quickly. But yeah, insect repellent works very well. We do always travel with insect repellent because, as you guys know, we also travel a lot in the South Pacific, Fiji, Tonga, Niue, Cook Island, all those places, and so they tend to have quite a lot of mosquitoes there. So insect repellent is definitely like a major kind of option to avoid sandfly, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, so another thing you can do to avoid, which is an easy way to avoid sandflies, is to make sure that you're covering your skin, i.e. wearing long-sleeved shirts or, full pants rather than just shorts, making sure that your feet are covered, for instance. They're not going to bite through your shoes, but typically when you've got your feet out in your jandals or flip-flops, that's when the sandflies come out, and they can, obviously your skin's exposed, and that's when they're more likely to bite you. So if you're sat in somewhere on an evening, if you're eating outside, and that's usually when you're sort of sat still and not doing anything, when you go out for those sort of evenings, just make sure that your skin is covered. You can just wear light clothing, obviously because sandflies are more active during the summer season. You obviously sometimes want to wear something, you want to be in your shorts and t-shirt, but just packing a few light sort of long sleeve clothing is a good way to go as well.
Yeah. And finally, the last thing that you can be doing to avoid sandfly, and the best thing you can be doing to avoid sandfly, yes, we kept the best for last, and it's super simple, is to plan your trip to New Zealand during the off season. If you come to New Zealand during the off season, first you're gonna basically travel much cheaper around New Zealand. There's gonna be less people around. You're gonna get the whole place to yourself, and the sandflies are gonna be too cold. So if sandflies are really something that worry you, and you feel like you really want to do the beautiful Abel Tasman National Park sandfly free, well, if you travel any other months than December, January, February, try to avoid November and March maybe, but like any other months from those ones, you're going to be able to absolutely have an awesome time in New Zealand, and you will have no worries whatsoever about the sandfly. It's very rare to actually see sandflies, and if you see them, or if you feel them, they're going to be just very, very few in numbers compared to what you usually going to see. Now, before we finish with this video, I just want to point out that sandflies is made much more of a big deal than it actually is, right? Again, Laura and I are traveling extensively around New Zealand constantly, all the time, and very rarely we have had issues with sandfly, and it's really just nothing else than just one mosquito bite here and there, and it's okay. Some people, and I'm not minimizing the fact that some people are very sensitive to that, and sometimes someone just is a European buffet to the sandfly and has literally the perfect skin, and they all are drawn to them. But it's really not everybody, and it's definitely not the majority. Usually, the issue with sandfly is that they're basically the issue of the large minority, where a few amount of people that get always bitten by sandflies are going to make a really big deal out of it for scaring a little bit everybody. Honestly, not a big deal, and it's not something that we receive super often. And we have a lot of people that tell us they're really worried about it, but we have very little amount of people that says, well, I came to New Zealand and I was literally eaten alive by sandfly. That's really not something that we get too often.
Yeah.
So don't stress too much about it. Pick one or two of the tips that we gave you in this video and go with that.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys did find this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you are watching live, you can put your question in the live chat right now. We're going to get to it right away. Or if you are watching a replay of this video, make sure to put your questions in the comments below, because we pick your questions, we print them up, and we answer them for you guys as we go throughout our live sessions. So here you go. Like, subscribe, put the comments, and everybody's happy, and happy 2020.
Yeah.